close our eyes. We do in the attitude of prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, we just want to thank you for causing us to see this day. We give you all the glory and all the praise. We commit this event into your hands. It is for the glory of your name, and so we commit also the youth that is meant to impact upon. Lord, we're asking wherever they are, those that are meant to be here, placing their son,
Okay, I'm here.
everyone as we come, Father, shape destinies. Lord, open up peoples in the name of Jesus. Lord, we thank you because it is done. Take all the glory for this in the name of Jesus.
Amen. Amen.
Thank you. Let's take our seats. It's my pleasure to welcome everyone.
Don't bring that long.
Welcome once again. It's my pleasure to introduce special guests. We're all seated here. We thank those some of us are online. And we want to just recognize our special guests that will be talking to us on today's occasion. We have first the chief hostess, Dr. Lily Oseji. You're welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much.
We have the chairman of the occasion, Dr. Adesuwa Adepade, who is also the HAP of Public Health FMC Asaba. Welcome.
Yes.
We have online Adeleke Range, that's the founder of Adeleke Range Foundation. You're welcome. We also have online Professor Alphonsus Asaba, President of Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria. You're welcome, sir.
Thank you very much.
And with us, Dr. Dokas Ola from the Young Veterans, who is the Young Veterans Training Coordinator of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. You're also welcome.
Do I now make this one the host? So
and then we have Dr. Venkatraman Chandramuli, who is a scientist, an adolescent sexual and reproductive health, the Adolescent Sexual and Reproductive Health Department and Research of the World Health Organization. You are welcome, sir. And then, to join us would be Dr. Anne Ojima, who is also a consultant public health medicine in the Federal Medical Center, Asaba. So you are all welcome to online or physically present. We welcome you. And without wasting much time, I want to hand over to the host.
Who are both physically present as well as virtually present, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I must say that I am truly delighted to welcome you all to today's program. I want to apologize that we started behind schedule. You know, ideally, carrying out charitable works like this should be done when you are retired. And we are not yet retired, so we still have to work from 8 to 4 and close before we come and do some of these activities. And that is partly responsible for some of the issues. But we thank God for being able to put us together. And we thank you, particularly those joining virtually, for taking out time today to join us. We'll be talking more about how this youth-friendly center, the conception, the idea started. But I want us to start off with the presentations so that we will know the burden of the problem that we are facing and what the objective we are trying to achieve. We'll be hearing about youth-friendly centers when we go for programs and when we attend some national and international meetings. But seeing one that is actually doing what it's supposed to do is another thing. And one of the greatest challenges we've had in the health sector in Nigeria is that we see best practices, but to adopt those best practices and to identify them and put them into practice has always been difficult. Our humble contribution by setting up the center is to let all stakeholders, both the government and non-government actors, know that it is possible. And we hope that will be a model for others to follow. So once again, I want to thank you all for being here. God bless you.
For that welcome address. I also want to invite the chairman or the chairperson of this occasion, Dr. Adesua Adekode, to give us our opening remarks.
Standing on the already established protocol respectfully, but I still want to acknowledge it. Standing on the already established protocol respectfully, I still want to acknowledge the presence of Honorable Minister, my President, Association of Public Health Physicians, Professor Afonso Sarah, and also my mentor, Dr. Seji. Barrister Adjo, and welcome. And thank you, Ma, for this opportunity and privilege to chair this opening ceremony of this youth-friendly adolescent center. You've been at the forefront championing this cause for a while, even outside the community to the facility level. FMC is not essential. So on this note, I will say, ladies, gentlemen, esteemed guests, cherished young individuals, your presence, you are all welcome. It is with immense joy and deep sense of purpose that we gather here today for the official opening ceremony of the much needed youth-friendly center in the public health space, especially in Asaba, Delta State. This moment of official opening of the Berachah Community Clinic Youth-Friendly Center by the management and staff of the Berachah Community Clinic, ably led by my mentor, Dr. Seji, marks a significant stride towards the treatment of the health and well-being of our youth, who are the cornerstone of our community future. I was opportune to be at the just concluded conference for Society of Public Health Professionals of Nigeria. And I was shocked when they talked about the body, adolescent and young adult problems in Nigeria. I was in the dissemination and the plenary session, sponsored by AHEAD, Academy for Health Development, and also in collaboration with the Berachah Foundation. And you see that they are really burdened, there are really problems, because starting with the fact that here in Africa, we don't have statistics. We don't have what we qualify the burden of the problem of young adults and adolescents. So at this point in time, it is really important that we have this open. The bulk of the youth age group is made up adolescents who are aged 10 to 19 years and young persons aged 15 to 24 years. This age group, according to the World Health Organization, at an alarming population of about 1.8 billion, and this is like almost 1/3 of the world population. So if we have this bulk of youths at our disposal, and we know that 90% of these are in developing countries like Nigeria. In Nigeria, for example, over 60% of the population is made up of young persons aged less than 25 years. The unique need for a specialized care for youth is that they form the foundation for the future, and they are plagued with a lot of physical, physiological, and psychological changes, which we know about. And such, these determine their future health. Third, they will immensely benefit from a specialized clinic that is able to connect with them and guide them in making healthier choices. And that's why we are happy at the opening of this facility. In as much as it's not in the healthcare facility, it's in the community. The more reason why we need such to reach out to the youth. Most often times, attention at the governmental level is usually geared towards economic development, entrepreneurial training for youth. However, with the Berachah Community Youth Friendly Clinic, attention can also be paid to their sexual, reproductive, mental, physical, and social well-being in a safe haven where there's compassion, understanding, and top-notch medical care, converged in an environment tailored to the unique needs of our young generation. As we inaugurate this clinic, we not only inaugurate a physical space, but also a commitment to nurture a healthier, happy, empowered youth. Welcome to a new chapter of care, support, and holistic growth for our community's most valuable assets. And who are these? Our youth that are also seated. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairperson of Education, for that. Welcome. For that remarks. We are going to be taking good messages by our special guests, most of whom are online with us. We'll start with the former Minister of Health, founder of Adolescent Range Foundation, Professor Adolescent Range. You're welcome, ma'am, to give us your good message.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everybody. Madam Chair, my dear colleague, Dr. Mini Oseji, distinguished guests, the youth of tomorrow, today and tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to attend this launching as a virtual guest. Of course, I would have preferred to be sitting there physically among you. However, I'm so happy that I'm able to be a virtual guest. Thank you very much for inviting me. My goodwill message is supposed to last for 5 minutes. I will make it last for 5 minutes. But before then, I would like us to look at the story of the internet. How did we come by being able to talk to each other like this? You know, even though we are in different parts of the world. And before the meeting started, those of us on the virtual platform were introducing ourselves from Ireland, from UK, from, various places, and even from Plateau State, so it's really wonderful. So I have been looking into this. I mean, it's one thing that really, really makes me marvel. And we didn't have this before 1980, If you remember, those of you who may remember this, before 1980, we were using those telephones that we had to, they were so unreliable. I remember having to rush to Tafawa Balewa Square to call my daughter in England. So we're taking a lot of things for granted, but the way we suffered in those days, we could not communicate with each other. Now we have the iPhone, we have the we have the internet, and the story of the internet is just the same. Apparently, this was discovered by one man in Switzerland who sort of let go the proprietary and said that it should be shared with the whole world. So, around all these discoveries is that generosity of wanting to share. And this is one message I would like to give to the youth, that they must be able to share information, share experiences, share all the good things that they are enjoying, and share with their colleagues that there is this wonderful youth clinic that has just been built and everybody should make good use of it. So sharing is one core value that I would like them to add to the rest of the core values, which they will be taught, no doubt. And those other core values are discipline, integrity, industry, empathy, honesty, accountability, transparency. If we had this in our leaders, we would not be where we are today. So, we are asking them to think seriously about character building, but building their characters to be able to justify all the effort that is being put in by this generation and past generations. We are getting tired. We want to hand over the baton to you, but we would love to know that you have imbibed all those core values before we do so. So with those few words, I hope that I pray God's blessings on this clinic that will now give to our youth the facility to get healed of their various illnesses, both physical, mental, social, and so that they can be able to contribute meaningfully to the technologic, literary, social, religious, economic, administrative, and political dimensions of nation building. Thank you very much for inviting me to give this goodwill address. Thank you, and God bless.
Yeah, that's right. Yes, and she is also a pediatrician and a professor of pediatrics. Thank you, for that precisely. Next on the list is Professor Alphonsus Isara, who is the president of Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria. He's not been fit to be the president of all public health physicians in Nigeria. So, welcome, Professor Isara. Welcome, sir. Take the floor and give us your address. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. MC. The chairman of today's occasion, Dr. Adesowa Aibokaude, who is also the head of Department of Public Health in FMC Asaba, and doubles as the National Treasurer of APHPN, Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria. The chief host, Dr. Mini Oseji, a very passionate and practical public health physician par excellence. The management and staff of Berachah Community Clinic, invited guests here present, the youth, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I say a very good evening to you all. It is indeed my pleasure to be invited to this epoch-making event, the official opening of Berachah Community Clinic, a youth-friendly center. I bring you convivial greetings and warm felicitations from the Board of Trustees, the National Executive Council, and the entire members of the Association of Public Health Physicians of Nigeria. The association is very proud that the chief host is one of our members. Adolescents and young people are very special people in their own rights. But oftentimes, they are faced with a lot of challenges, especially sexual and reproductive health issues. While adolescents feel they can no longer access child health services, in most cases, they are not also welcome to receive adult health services. This dilemma leaves them to their fate, and this has resulted in poor adolescent and reproductive health indices in Nigeria. At the home front, studies in many sub-Saharan African countries have shown poor adolescent-parent communication on sexual and reproductive health issues. And this is mainly because of cultural beliefs and poor parental knowledge of sexual and reproductive health issues. Adolescent sexual and reproductive health services are either rudimentary or non-existent in many public healthcare facilities in Nigeria. Where it exists, they lack basic infrastructure and equipment to provide essential adolescent sexual and reproductive health services. Access to quality and essential adolescent sexual and reproductive health services is very critical to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goal 3, target number 7. Therefore, I congratulate the management and staff of Berachah Community Clinic for this wonderful idea of a private community clinic with state-of-the-art facilities to cater for the sexual and reproductive health needs of adolescents and young people in Delta State and in neighboring states of Nigeria. Adolescents in Asaba and Ebarons now have a place where they can express themselves freely, enjoy effective communication, and access quality adolescent sexual and reproductive health services. To the best of my knowledge, this is the first private youth-friendly center in Delta State. I commend the board of directors of Berachah Community Clinic for blazing the trail in this regard. I urge you to maintain accurate records of all your activities, because I envisage that an improvement in adolescent sexual and reproductive health indices in Delta State in particular, and in Nigeria in general in the near future, as a result of your efficient and effective services. I can confirm that the chief host will not deliver anything less than an efficient and effective adolescent reproductive health services. So once again, I congratulate Dr. Sergi and the management and staff of Berachah Community Clinic. Thank you very much for the invitation and the opportunity to give a goodwill message. God bless you all.
Current president of APHPN, Association of Public Health Institutions of Nigeria. He was first elected 2 years ago in Abuja, and I was there at that election. Because he did so well, he was also re-elected this year in January, February, and I was also there at that re-election. So thank you, Prof, for your leadership and for this address. Yes, we have Dr. Steiner Oba of the Young Doctors Forum. She is the coordinator of Young Doctors Forum and also coordinator of the Medical Women Association. Sorry, she is the coordinator of Young Doctors Forum and she's also of the Medical Women's Association of Nigeria. Welcome, Dr. Taiwo.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. And I want to congratulate you once again. The members of the Berachah community, I congratulate you. I hope this message finds you all in good health and spirit. And I bring greetings from the Medical Women Association National President, Dr. Lillian Adekemi-Otolorin. I'm highly honored to be here today. And my warmest greetings and heartfelt appreciation to each one of you. Well, when we look at the journey towards a healthier and stronger community, we are truly blessed to have this remarkable clinic, Berachah Community Clinic in Asaba, as a cornerstone of efforts. This organization stands as a beacon of hope, a place where compassionate care and expert medical guidance convergence to uplift and empower us all. The services offered in this clinic are not mere consultation. They represent a commitment to the well-being of the community, from routine checkup to specialized treatment. The clinic is dedicated and then has a team of healthcare professionals that ensures that every individual receives the attention and care they deserve, which includes treatments of infection diseases, including sexually transmitted infections, travel health services, school health services, screening for cancer of the breast, surveys, prostate, they're into reproductive health services, home-based care, immunization, training in public health and community health and research, to mention just a few. But beyond medical expertise, today we are officially launching the Berachah Community Clinic Youth-Friendly Center in Asaba, with the goal of providing a place where adolescents and youth can be engaged in one-on-one and guided into more productive parts of life. And this includes peer education, training, provision of support to adolescents and youth with special education needs, and organization of programs to raise awareness about issues of adolescent sexual anarchy. Youth-friendly center. Actually, they play a lot of pivotal role in providing adolescent sexual health education. These centers offer a safe and non-judgmental space where young individuals can access accurate information about their health, their sexual health. They can access information about contraceptives, contraception, sexually transmitted infections, and many other things. By offering comprehensive education, these centers empower youth to make informed decisions about their bodies, about their relationship, about their future, leading them to healthier choices and reduce risk. Through approachable staff and confidential services, youth-friendly centers creates an environment that encourages open dialogue. And then they foster positive attitudes towards sexuality, what they contribute to the community, and to their own well-being as young people. By choosing Berachah Community Clinic Youth-Friendly Center, I must tell you, you are not choosing quality health alone, but you are also becoming part of a supportive network that values your health, happiness, and overall prosperity. The clinic's outreach programs on health education initiatives, wellness workshop, and so many other programs serves as valuable resources for you as young people. And this will lead a healthier lives, both individually and collectively. I encourage each member of our community in Berachah community in Asaba to take full advantage of the opportunities that Berachah Community Clinic provides, that this youth-friendly center will be providing. So please encourage your younger ones to join, to be part of the program, to be a member of this center so that they can benefit from all that has been planned, that all that is in progress at the moment, so that they can benefit themselves and the community at large. Let us come together to embrace these advantages offered by this remarkable institution, strengthening our community's bond and securing a brighter, healthier future for us all. Once again, I am grateful for this invite. Thank you, and God bless you all.
And also the medical person of the Medical Association of Nigeria. But we're also interested to know that Dr. Taro is also the lecturer at another university, lecturer in anatomy, and also a researcher in similar area. Thank you for that address, for that message. Next, we have Dr. Venkatoma Chandramani, who is also a scientist, and the Adolescent, Sexual and Reproductive Health Department of Sexual and Reproductive Health and Research of the World Health Organization. Welcome, sir, as you take your very message.
First month of this new year, I would like to share some good news from the world of adolescent sexual and reproductive health. Namaste and greetings from the World Health Organization. My name is Chandramouli, and I lead the WHO's work on adolescent sexual and reproductive health and rights. In reality, there is actually an enormous amount of bad news in the world today. There are climate crises everywhere. The Ukraine war, the long-running conflict in eastern Congo, and other wars smolder on with daily reports of death and destruction. The marginalization of girls and women by a brutal regime in Afghanistan worsens steadily. In such a climate, it is easy for one to assume that there is nothing good in the world. But in fact, there is positive news, and I would like to share some of it with you today. Firstly, more girls are completing secondary school today than they did a decade ago. Between 2012 and 2020, the proportion of girls who completed lower secondary school rose from 69 to 77%, while the proportion of girls who completed upper secondary school rose from 49 to 59%. Secondly, fewer child marriages occur today. Over the past decade, the proportion of young women who were married as children has declined globally from 23% to 19%. Thirdly, fewer adolescent girls are having children. Worldwide, the adolescent birth rate has fallen from 51 to 42 births per 1,000 girls aged 15 to 19 since 2012. Fourthly, the proportion of new HIV infections among adolescent girls has fallen by 33% over the past decade. Globally, the number of new HIV infections among adolescent girls has declined by 1/3 since 2012, from 180,000 to 60,000 today. Lastly, female genital mutilation is declining. There are 31 countries worldwide while this practice is highly prevalent and concentrated. Within these countries, the proportion of adolescent girls aged 15 to 19 who have experienced FGM has decreased from 41% to 34% over the past decade. Clearly, we're moving in the right direction. But while we can celebrate the successes that we've had in these 5 areas, the momentum is still slow and uneven. We must use the lessons we have learned and the experience we have gained to accelerate progress in each of these areas. And we must strive for a broader reach and more equity so that no countries, communities, and families are left behind. Beyond that, we must also extend our efforts to other areas where there has been limited or zero headway. For example, in violence against girls and young women, and in areas outside sexual and reproductive health, such as mental health. But the fact that there has been forward momentum in a number of areas, as I have shown you, tells you that with effort and investment, bettering the health and development of adolescents is possible, is doable, even in the context of the difficult social, cultural, and economic realities of their lives, and in the wider context of the challenges that the world is currently facing. The next time someone says that the health situation of adolescents is gloomy and that the outlook is bleak, use these facts and figures to help them see that we have, in fact, collectively made remarkable progress, and that by working together, we can do more and achieve even better results than we have. Thank you and namaste.
Thank you. Dr. Chandraman for that address. Next, we have our next speaker, who is going to speak on wonderfully made and perfectly normal, Dr. Ann Ojimba, who is the consultant public health physician at Federal Medical Center Asaba, and also the director of Center for Communicable Disease Research. She's also a family counselor and the president of Girls Nations. Welcome.
Should I use this mic or should I just stop my voice?
People need to hear you.
Okay, it's the way it sounds. Why did I choose this topic? So the topic is I'm wonderfully made and perfectly normal. I'm supposed to just say something to young people in in the short time I have just 15 minutes. And this was what came into my heart. Because right now, all over the globe, okay, first of all, let me stand on the sitting protocol. The chairman of the occasion, Dr. Mrs. Adolescent, our DPS, ladies and gentlemen, please permit me to stand on the sitting protocol. That is what came to my mind. What came to my mind is, what is the most topical thing in the heart of young people all over the world now? And I realized that no time in my short life of over 50 have I heard people worrying and in doubt of their body as we have right now. The crisis we are having globally among young people is a crisis of body image. Am I really myself? This body that I'm staying in, is it myself? Is it my best self? Is it becoming so much that the people who are selling it are selling it very, very high above of transgender, transracial, transfinancial, transcolor, and all sort of trans.
So we have over 140 gender types. And growing up, we are just, you're either a male or you're a female. But now, you can be a male, you can be a she-male, and he-male, and then you can be a female, and you can really, it's just so confusing for me as an adult. And I wonder how it's going to be for young people all over the world. And proponents of this agenda are not slacking at all. They are putting pressure on the mainstream media. They are putting pressure in all over the ways. So a young person, I just imagine how confused the youth of our days are going to be because of all this confusion that older ones we are creating for them. The other day, I also read that somebody said, oh, that gender is assigned. Well, as a public health physician, talking gender is more or less the way a society groom a person based on the biological sex. It's the biological sexual identity of the child that informs how the society now grooms that child.
But there are things we must tell ourselves the truth. Biological sex is not assigned. People are born that way. They are born that way. Nobody puts the ovary and the vagina and the female sexual organ inside a baby in the womb. It just comes like that. S chromosome meets with the S chromosome, and then the baby grows up with female genital organ. Y chromosome meets with the X chromosome, and then the baby grows up with male genital sexual organ. Now, what role the society gives to those with female organ and those with male organ can be argued. I honestly don't bother if you decide that those who have male organ should be the ones in the kitchen, while those who have female organ are the ones working. Now, if that's what you want in your society, I don't worry about that. But what bothers me is that we know in science that the sexuality of the child, the sexual organ, is not just the breast. It includes the mind, the hormones, the breast, and so many internal organs that you don't see. So you take a child, you yank off the breast. The child says, oh, I feel like a boy. So you go, you remove the breast. What about the hormones inside? Have you gone to the brain and blocked them? Then you start giving him hormone blockers. And these hormone blockers, how do they function? Are they natural? Are you able to determine the natural progression the creator placed together to make that person the way the person is? And unfortunately, what we have are human beings that are neither male nor female. And that is a crisis that is going to happen. Now, when you say something is about to crash, in a few years, it's going to crash. So many people who are right now singing this trans thing, who are in a few years, because we don't even know the side effect of the long-term blockers that we're given. We don't know the side effect of the long-term of all of these things that we're doing. So you have removed the male penis and you created a hole. Can you create the womb? Can you create the vagina? So that person, how does the person feel? See, he has all those bone structure that look like a man, but he just tries to walk like a lady and wear fake bras and fake whatever. What kind of a human being is that? What kind of humans are we trying to create in our world? Now, the reason why I choose the word wonderfully made is because I know that the CEO of this place is a believer. And in Psalm 139, which is one scripture we boldly share with our children, it says that I'm fearfully and wonderfully made. And that is why I chose that part. The fact that the way God made us is actually the best. Society and gender modeling and all of that can differ. But biologically, the best way we are created is the best. It's the best. So what is wrong if you're a girl and you don't want to have a baby? Fine, that's fine with me. If you don't want to wear skirts, you don't want to wear dresses, that's okay with me. You want to climb trees with the boys and pluck guava, mango, fine with me. I don't have a problem with that. But to go and use knife and cut out things from your body, I don't understand it. And so you wake up in the morning and you don't feel, you see, sometimes we overshoot things. That's why it's scary. Because sometimes I wonder what is the agenda of those of us who are adults, who have accepted our agenda, and who have had children, who are having husbands. What is our plan really? When we tell young people that they can come and then we cut them off and assign a gender because they don't feel certain way. Of all the ladies here, is there anybody here who was not unhappy about the fact that they are getting into menarche and there's blood coming out of their body? Is there a woman that was not angry and wished that she was not a girl at menarche? Where do you have to have abdominal cramps and have menstruation and all of that? We all did, we were all unhappy. Me, I cried. Why am I not a boy? Why do I have to do all sorts of bloody things and then have all this pain? And then, of course, it comes with pimples and all of that. And when breast came out, people start shaming you and you have to cover yourself and all of that. It's all part of the process of growing up. what really needs to happen is that parents should be taught how to successfully guide their children through puberty. Parents should be taught how to support their children. Instead of going to yank off the body part of that child, why don't we go through counseling on how to successfully guide a child through, when they're having crisis with their body image. So what is body image? Body image is a combination. It's a combination of the thoughts and feelings that we have about our body. Body image may range from between positive and negative experiences. And one person may feel differently at different times. I will tell you, young people who are here, don't you think I look beautiful? But growing up, I had this problem with my nose. Oh my God. And my skin. Because of all the people in my home, I was the darkest. I don't look like my mother. Neither do I look like my father. I look like my grandmother. And then my mother made things worse. Each time she's angry with me, she says things like, look at her, ugly you. You don't even, did you see anybody to look like? It's your grandmother with your big mouth and your black face. In Benin, where I lived then, they used to call me Ukpenobabe baby, meaning red lips in the midst of darkness. And I don't know how come I was so dark that time. And so that was how I grew up. Number one, I thought my nose was too wide and it was too big. And then my face was not like my mother's own. And I couldn't bleach my skin to look like her. And I just was very unhappy about my general look. And then when I was in secondary school, I told myself, I'm not going to bother about my look. I'm just going to concentrate on book. And that was the only thing I knew. If you say, if a boy, secondary school, one of the reasons I didn't have boyfriends is that they were always some, hey, you're beautiful. Your hand is like this. In my mind, I said, my mother had told me that I'm not fine, so forget it. Who do you want to deceive? Is it me? Even my husband, when he came, whatever, he said, you found me? How? But as I was approaching 30, 40, I took a good look at myself again. I took a good look at myself. I looked at other women around. And I said, you are a fine woman. From fine, I accepted myself. And before I know it, you can't even convince me that I'm not beautiful right now. So body image changes. It changes. What if at that time when I was not happy with my nose, somebody has gone to cut off the nose? What if at that time when I wanted to be fair like my siblings and all of that, somebody has gone to go and done something to my skin? Right? So body image changes with time. Depending on where you are, the circumstances around you, it changes. And all of that. Now, we're not talking about people who are challenged physically and have one form of disability or the other. We're just talking about people who do not have any disability except that they perceive their body in a different way. And it's okay to do that. It's all part of growing. It's all the process of growing. What do we need to do as parents and caregivers is to be able from an early age to teach a child to accept themselves. Like I said just now, just simply that my mom said, you look like your grandmother. You don't look like me and all that. That was enough to make me have a negative body image. These are the things that we have to empower parents with. How to be able to encourage young people to accept the way they look. How to prepare them to accept the particular challenges of the biological sex they have instead of going to yank out their bodies. There are three areas that people worry about most when we talk about body image. Number one is the face. Like I told you about my face. Some guys, one of the reasons why they want to be a girl is because they don't like facial hair. The hair is growing and they don't like it. And that's enough reason to say, I want to be a girl. I want my face to be smooth. And some ladies, the reason why they want to be a guy is because they want to have beards and all of that. They want to have broad shoulders. And they want to have that deep voice that says, how are you? And all of that. All of those things there's nothing wrong with that. For me, that's why I say it's normal. So if you feel you don't like your voice, it's normal. At some point or the other, we don't like our voice. If you feel, you don't like the shape of your chest, it's normal. You are not framed. It does not mean that you are now a different sex. It's just part of growing up. It's part of growing up. It's part of learning, to be the person we are called. So the first is one. The second one is body functioning. I talked about menses, the fact that every month, for a lot of girls who had gone to do one form of change or the other, monthly menstrual period, it's usually a problem. If you ask me, it's even easier to say, okay, give them something that stops the menstrues from flowing than to. Anyway, that is also making them male acts because it also changes everything. So what am I trying to say? That those difficulties are there, but they are all part of growing up. And at the end of the day, every mother, those days, my breast is standing, my breast is not standing, my breast is standing. You just worry. Then when you have your first baby, they're going to suck your breast. So is it going to be like slippers and all of that? But now I've finished having my babies. And I can look at the mirror and I look at myself and I say, wow, this is good. I like the way I look. I don't want to look like Idabo. No. I can't shave every day. God forbid. How can I shave every day? No, I don't. I just want to be who I am. So my time is 15 minutes and it's almost up. I just want to say, there are factors that affect our body image. Like I've talked about the stereotyping, and something we don't put in the books is the people who took care of us, what they say. One of training, parenting, is to teach a child to accept their body and to understand that they are fearfully and wonderfully made. The one that God has given them is fine. So family values and attitude is the first thing that helps a child to have the right body image. The second one is abuse and trauma. And most people who have issues with their gender had a stint with abuse or trauma. When I say my mom said this, we can call that verbal abuse and all that. Some people actually go, their body shaming. When you shame somebody with their body, is a form of abuse. So that's awesome. Of course, puberty. All sorts of hormones happen in the pre-pubertal era. The child experiences all sorts of things, and all of that acts. And the child's perception of mother and father also affects who the child wants to be. If the child has more respect and honor for the father, even a girl child will want to be a father figure. The same way, the opposite, it works with the opposite. Another thing we can talk about is self-esteem. Also, another thing we'll talk about is culture. So all of these go together to make a child accept or reject their body. One of the studies we are going out to do from our center is we are actually trying to understand what young people actually feel about their sex. Whether this trans thing will get here, it will. To some extent, it's already here. Whether it's going to get here, it's going to get here. We already see slave papas, slave mama. In fact, a few weeks ago, I heard that at the Delta State University, they did a trans week where boys were dressing like girls and girls were dressing like boys, and they all came to class like that, wearing wigs, doing makeup, and wearing gowns and bras and all of that. There are lots of, they call them drag queens. There are lots and lots of that. And these are people who go on the social media. Our children see them. Some of our artists are there. You see somebody who doesn't do any work, like the one they call Bobrisky, they call her whatever. I don't know which company she has. I don't know what work she does. But just because she typifies a drag queen and she shows on social media that she has a lot of money. Where does she get those money from? It's because the LGBT world is funding some of those things and pushing them in our country. So right now, you know the way the mindset of society is changing. First, there's the initial shock, and now a state where you just have tolerance. Leave them go, no mind them, and all of that. And before you know it, it becomes a norm. And that's the stage where we are. There's no longer an outrage when we see drag queens. We just say, leave them, it's mad, whatever. And from that tolerance, before you know it, it's acceptance. And these people are not targeting adults like you and I. They are targeting young people. When the LGBT march in America, sometime early this year, they said, we are coming for your children. And I said to them, God forbid, not my children, not my grandchildren. He said, we are coming. Because they have put it into the cartoons, no matter how early that cartoon, even for the cartoon of a 1-year-old, you will see a drag queen there. You see a drag queen there. You will see a she-male. You will see all this same-sex family and all that. You will see it there. It has to be there. It has become a norm. You must put that kind of thing into your movie before it can sell. And they are using that mainstream media to pump this thing into us. But young people out there, hear me and hear me clearly. You are wonderfully and fearfully made. And if you have any doubt, it's normal. So it's normal. Until when do I feel like, why do I not like myself? It's normal. You are not the only person that has not liked yourself. But it's only a phase in your life. In a few years, you will come back to realize that the things that you do not like are the things that make you special and unique. So hang in there and know that you are fearfully and wonderfully made. Thank you.
Award of transgender and so on and so forth. I wish this can go viral, this talk can go viral, so that those who have not heard it will hear it and change their mindset. Thank you so much. Next, we'll be having a talk by Ms. Daniela Udimo, who works with youths with special educational needs. Welcome on board, Ms. Daniela Udimo.
Good day, everyone. I am Daniela Eviroro Idiemo. I obtained BSc in Learning Disabilities with special with specialists with specialty in English. I have worked and still working at Open Door Special Education Center for the past 6 years. I am an entrepreneur. I deal with makeup and accessories. I would like to use this opportunity to thank Dr. Oseji and the organizers of this program, Berachah Community Clinic, on this day, 29th August. I would also like to use this opportunity to thank my director at Open Doors, from whom I am learning a lot. I would like to thank Ambassador Uchenna Madueke for giving me permission to use her success story. The topic, youth with special educational needs, is one very dear to me. It is centered on my profession. Youth with special educational needs are youths with a condition with disability resulting in learning difficulties, hence the need for special education. Special educational needs SEN is very important for the youths, the parents, the community, and the nation at large. Everyone should develop interest in youths with special educational needs. Now let's look at youths with special educational needs. A youth, young persons between ages 18 to 35 years. Special educational needs SEN are prevalent among youths worldwide. Studies have indicated that approximately 15 to 20% of children and adolescents have some form of special educational needs. Prevalence of special educational needs varies depending on factors such as geographical location, socioeconomic status, and cultural factors. Let's look at challenges of youth with special educational needs. Challenges of youth with special educational needs are numerous. Their needs are different from peers, not well understood and provided for, and communication barrier is a huge challenge. They suffer rejection, exclusion, frustration, stigma. They lack access to special educational needs and educational materials, tools and support system, limited support, and more. These are also challenges they encounter. Their transition to adulthood, financial constraints, limited independence and life skill, limited job opportunities, and limited social and mental health support. These are also challenges they encounter. Let's look at challenges of parents and community. Challenges of parents of youth with special educational needs. This includes their inability to recognize and identify the special needs of the youth, adapting, assisting, providing support for the youth. This is also a challenge. Lack of finance, patience, love, and care. Challenges of the community, awareness of the condition, acceptance and inclusion of the youth with special educational needs. Let's look at special educational needs. What is special educational needs SEN? Special educational needs SEN is a term used to describe children or young people who have difficulty or disability which needs special educational provisions to be made for them. The Special Educational Needs and Disability Code of Practice defines SEN as a child of compulsory school age or young person has a learning difficulty or disability if they have a significantly greater difficulty in learning than majority of others the same age in mainstream. People with special educational needs SEN have learning disabilities that make it harder for them to learn than most children of the same age. We have 4 broad areas of special educational needs, and they fall under 1, communication and interaction, 2, cognition and learning, 3, social, mental, and emotional health, 4, sensory and physical conditions, which includes sensory impairment, such as those affecting sight or hearing. Children with special educational needs may need extra help with thinking and understanding, physical or sensory difficulties, difficulties with speech and language, how they relate to and behave with other people. Many children and young people who have special educational needs may have a disability under the Equality Act 2010. This means they have a physical or mental impairment which has a long-term and substantial adverse effect on their ability to carry out normal day-to-day activities. Long-term is defined here as a year or more, and substantial is defined here as more than minor or trivial. The conditions include sensory impairments such as those affecting sight or hearing, as mentioned earlier. Health conditions such as asthma, diabetes, epilepsy, and cancer. Children and young people with such conditions do not necessarily have special educational needs. There is a significant overlap between disabled children and young people and those with special educational needs. Where a disabled child or young person requires special education provision, they will also be covered by the special educational needs. Let's look at some physical conditions that require special educational needs. We have many, but I'll just mention some. Some physical conditions include attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, ADHD, Down syndrome, hearing impairment, autism spectrum disorder, ASD, visual impairment, developmental delay, dyslexia, learning difficulties, and many more. Let's look at strategies of special educational needs. We must provide accessible and inclusive education and learning programs. This is very important. We must provide special educational needs and support consisting of creating a multidisciplinary team, which includes the following: developmental pediatrician, child psychologist, speech therapist, teacher, parents, school administrators, and other specialists. We must develop an individual educational plan, IEP. Four basic components of IEP includes demographic, current level of child or youth performance, learning objectives of the child or youth, services and accommodation needed for the child or youth. Let's look at steps to developing IEP. They include the following. We must first and foremost get proper diagnosis, that is taking the child to the hospital for proper diagnosis. Specialists will then identify and refer to special educational centers. We must then collaborate with administrators and staff of the institution, parents, other necessary specialists, community stakeholders, government agencies, and then we must then set up individual educational plan for each child or youth. We must introduce picture exchange communication system, PECS. We must create teaching strategy, visual schedule, picture exchange communication system, non-preferred activity or preferred activity, use applied behavior analysis. We must offer mentorship and guidance programs specifically designed for the youth with special educational needs. We must include programs to help them develop their skills and talents, encourage participation in extracurricular activities and community events. We must create job training and vocational programs. This is also very important. We must offer mentorship and guidance programs. Specifically, we must create a comprehensive network. We must offer mentorship and guidance programs specifically designed for youth with special educational needs. We must create a comprehensive network of services and resources for youth with special educational needs. for their families, the special needs schools, and the community to help them navigate challenges and build resilience. We must promote self-advocacy skills. We must empower youth with SEN, voice their opinions. We must let them make choices about their own lives. We must encourage the youth we must encourage the development of leadership skills in youth with special educational needs. We must provide opportunities for them to take on meaningful roles in their communities. Let's look at the SEN provider. The SEN provider, which is the educationist. The qualities of the SEN provider includes the following. The SEN provider must be present, trained, result and service-oriented, flexible, patient, love people, love the job, and be a good team member, and more. The SEN provider must possess an extraordinary combination of character traits. This educationist must develop coping techniques that can help the teachers avoid the stress and burnout that usually comes with the job. They must be able to identify the source of a particular behavioral problem. This educationist must be able to adapt general lesson plans to meet the needs of each youth. The SEN provider must be able to simplify basic skills, difficult concepts, and deliver using engaging methods that every student can grasp. The SEN provider must be able to design IEPs, that is the individual educational plan. Let's look at the challenges of the SEN provider. The challenges of the educationist from the job. They suffer burnout more easily. The SEN provider suffer non-instructional responsibilities and its challenges. Teaching with its set of huge responsibilities. They are trained but carry extra burden with many related responsibilities, such as attending meetings, conducting assessments, and dealing with loads of test paperwork. These are also challenges. The challenges of the SEN provider includes challenge of handling the problem of an inclusive classroom with both special educational needs and normal pupils. Let's look at challenges from the parents, the youth, and the community. Challenges with the parents includes their delay, late detection, lack of understanding of the needs, the program, misconceptions, poverty, and more. With the youth, their needs vary. Individual needs must be met. IEP, that's the individual educational plan, must be set and followed for each youth. With the community, the lack of detection, identification, and understanding of the condition of the youth. These are also challenges they face. Many misconceptions, such as conditions being referred to as a witchcraft or curse, and more. I have many success stories to share, but I'll share just one. Uchenna Ogochukwu Madueke is an avid award-winning disability rights advocate living gracefully with cerebral palsy in Jos, Plateau State, Nigeria. She is the author of the book titled Miss Courageous and a devoted teacher at the Open Doors Special Education Center for over 20 years. She had SEN, that's special educational needs, and got a lot of support from family, friends, and relations. She has developed into a brilliant, dedicated, outspoken young lady with profound public speaking ability at various national and international events. Uchenna Madueke has been honored by Benola, a cerebral palsy awareness initiative, as a cerebral palsy awareness initiative ambassador. Ambassador Uchenna Madueke remains a catalyst for change, striving to create a society that embraces diversity and values the contribution of every individual, regardless of their abilities. She recently conducted successful research on access to decent work for persons with disabilities in collaboration with a great team at its coordinator. There are many, like Ambassador Uchenna Madweke, who have become great professionals in various fields. Let's look at some recommendations. I recommend that early detection and early intervention is highly recommended. We must also handle denial, rejection, labeling, stigma, and more. I recommend that we should make policies to protect, assist, accommodate, employ youth, promote inclusion of youth with special educational needs. We must create awareness about the disability, the special needs, to let people know the following. 1, that disability is not a cause of witchcraft. 2, about developmental monitoring, developmental screening, and comprehensive developmental evaluation. I recommend that we recognize and create multidisciplinary team, as mentioned earlier. We must develop an individual educational plan, IEP, and always use it. I recommend that we should also help them gain employment and develop independence, which is very important. We should also, more government agencies, NGOs, and community stakeholders should get involved with special educational needs. We must create a comprehensive network of services and recommendations and resources. Conclusion: everyone can join hands to empower youth with SEN, that's special educational needs, from collaborations with government agencies, non-profit organizations, and community stakeholders, to create a comprehensive network of services, resources for youth with special educational needs, as well as their families, to help them navigate challenges and build resilience. We must join hands, we must join them to promote self-advocacy skills, empower them to voice their opinions and make their choices about their own lives. This is very important. We must provide opportunities for them to take on meaningful roles in their communities. We must send them for vocational training. With training, they can have involvement in every area of life. They should be included in everything while giving them special consideration. They should be put into regular schools after being stable from the special schools. Thank you.
Wow, that's special. Well done.
Thank you.
That was fantastic. Well done.
Thank you, ma'am.
That was beautiful. That was beautiful.
And I'm so delighted that we made that happen. Thank you so much, Daniel, for your beautiful presentation. So we're going to be very fast. I'm talking about adolescent sexual reproductive health and everything for those who are physically present. And I'm going to say it's already in the newsletter that was distributed. I contributed the article on adolescent sexual and reproductive health to the Association of Public Health Physicians newsletter. And I just made it into a presentation, so I can go very fast since you already have it. But for those who are here virtually, I want to send you the article, the presentation, and everything. So please pardon the speed. This is the outline. Next slide. And then this is the introduction. There's a lot about adolescents and the fact that it's a period from 10 to 19, very vulnerable period. Next slide. network. And it's very important to know that many adolescents are getting infected with HIV. In FMC Asaba, the record shows that we have 109 adolescents in care. And we also have the material group known as orphans and vulnerable children who are very vulnerable to crimes and vices like prostitution, ritual, and so on. Next slide. And we look at so much data, it's really very bad. Even the issue of teenage pregnancy, we have that high rate among adolescents, and we found out that they do not know how to talk to their parents, their religious leaders, their teachers, and that is where we have a challenge with health literacy. Health literacy is the cognitive skills that determine the motivation and ability of an adolescent to gain access to understand and use information in ways that promote and maintain good health. And so they need to know where the social certification and things are. These are the things that create the barrier. Next slide. So when we talk about health literacy, when we talk about health slide after the slide after the we find that we also have guardians of condoms. So this youth center, if all they know about this center is that we are actually condoms, they will think that, oh, we are just going to corrupt the children. But if they hear that we are doing skill acquisition and so on, they will support for us to have a center and for us to utilize the center. Next slide. Or do I just stay and finish the presentation? So the services that we expect to have: information on physical and mental development, menstrual hygiene, family planning. Keep going. Okay. And these are some of the services in a diagrammatic form. Next slide. An adolescent-friendly health professional must be motivated, supported, non-judgmental, culturally sensitive. Next slide. And again, you can also use an adolescent-friendly center for the Operation 000. Next slide. So training of peer educators is also something that an adolescent-friendly health center can assist with. Next slide. These are some of the activities: dramas, quiz, competitions, and concerts. Next slide. And then we can take it to school, because the schools is an ideal place to connect with more adolescents, teach adolescents about health, and when they are healthier, they learn better. Next slide. So this is the Berachah Community Clinic, where the Adolescent Health Center is located, founded in 2014, and we carry out several public and community health services. Next slide. And now we are setting up, next slide, the Adolescent Health Center to carry out all these things that we've been teaching about adolescent reproductive sexual health. Like, so we have some flyers which we put inside the file jackets. When they register and become members, they will be able to get all these things that we are distributing today. Next slide. Continue. 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 So in conclusion, next slide. Information, education, and communication should target all the stakeholders, and there should be effective monitoring and evaluation. There should be effective monitoring and evaluation of the above strategies, coupled with aggressive advocacy and scaling up of whatever interventions that have been identified to work. So most of you know that I'm a freak for data. And so everything we're going to do, we collect the data, and hopefully we'll also publish so that people in the wider audience will be able to benefit. Thank you so much. We shall now quickly give the vote of thanks, give the closing prayer, and then do the talk, because the rain is about coming. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Christabel Iseji, and good evening, everyone. My name is Dr. Christabel Iseji, and it gives me immense pleasure to be able to give the vote of thanks in the presence of dignitaries here. I would like to thank everyone on behalf of the Berachah Community Clinic for their audience. I would like to thank the chairman, Dr. Adesua. I work out here. I'm probably murdering your name, but I'm sorry. I'd also like to thank the goodwill messengers, Dr. Professor Adenike Grange, sorry, pardon me, Professor Alfonso Isara, Dr. Dokas Taiwola, and Dr. Venkatman, the Chandramouli scientist. I'd also like to thank our wonderful speakers, Dr. Anne Ojimba, for a wonderful presentation, Dr. Mini Oseji, and Ms. Daniela Idemo. It was really inspiring. I really learned a lot this evening. I'd also like to thank the audience, both virtually and physically, for their attention and for their presence here. It really means a lot to the Berachah Community Clinic. I'd like to thank everyone, both the staff, everyone who played a part to make this a wonderful event. Thank you all and God bless you.
Closing prayer. Let Pastor Amos give us the closing prayer.
Let's go our feet. Heavenly Father, we thank you for the successful this youth-friendly center of Berachah Community Clinic. Lord, receive all the Jesus.
Amen.
All that we have done, Lord, please breathe upon them in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
That we walk with them in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Bless every one of us. Because we go back, Lord, take us back home safely in the name of Jesus.
Amen.
Receive all the glory. Jesus' name we pray.
Amen. Can have it, sir. Carry it. So come on. Oh, okay. Please, you will be the one to put the papers.
No, we are finished. They're touring the center. This is
finished already. They're clearing the place.
they are touring.
Just log out. Go. Just log off. That's all right. I concluded.